Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum and good day to all. I am Ramla binti Awaluddin and I am an English lecturer, and currently I'm attached to Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah. And my partner in writing and conducting this research is Siti Safia Madri, who is also an English lecturer in Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah. So the title of our research is English Language Speaking Anxiety Among Polytechnic Students in Sandakan Sabah. So before we dive in, let me first do some introduction regarding our research. So basically, the importance of mastering the English language has been well acknowledged all over the world. According to British Council, by 2025, about 3 billion people will be studying the English language worldwide. Basically, this is due to the trend of globalization that requires English fluency in workplace and also business market. Thus, in order to keep up with the current demand for employment, students need to be well equipped with the excellent ability to communicate in English. So in Malaysia, students who are pursuing their diploma certification in polytechnics need to fulfill 3 levels of English courses, which are Communicative English 1, Communicative English 2, and also Communicative English 3, in order to make them competent and confident in using the language, especially when they are out working in the industry. However, polytechnic students are found to show less participation in English language subject and often shy away from conversing in English and are not willing to participate during class activities that require them to speak in English. This is stated by Marcus et al. In 2012. So most polytechnic students admit that it is their forte when it comes to technical hands-on activities, but they are unable to express their ideas well verbally. This is also by Marcus et al. 2012, and Hanafi Zaid and Kamaruddin 2011 stated that anxiety, nervousness, and fear of other people's evaluation were among the main reasons preventing them from making effort to speak in English. Okay, means anxiety preventing the students or hindering the students to be proficient in English language. So, language anxiety undoubtedly can bring about many negative impacts, as it can interfere with the input processing, retrieval, and output level. Furthermore, serious language anxiety can harm one's self-image and lower the self-esteem or self-confidence, which ultimately negatively affect their proficiency in the second language. This is by Foucault and Oxford 1991. So let's look at the research objective of this study. They are as follows. Number one, to determine the anxiety level among Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah students when they are speaking in the English language. And number two, to investigate if there is a significant differences between male and female students in English language speaking anxiety. So the significance of the study acknowledging that the students' anxiety when it comes to speaking in the English language is significant, as the lecturer will look for effective way to curb or ease this problem among their students. So when lecturer are conscious of the students' concern and issues, they will create new approaches and strategies that will ensure that all the students will benefit from their class. So this is stated by Florian and Lani 2008. Thus, the information gained from this study can assist the lecturer in finding new approaches and strategies to ensure that all students will be participating and benefiting from their class without being overwhelmed and distracted by their anxiety, especially when it comes to speaking in the English language. So let's look at the theoretical background. So Howitz and Pop 1986, who introduced the term foreign language anxiety as a distinct condition, have identified 3 more types of anxiety, which are communication apprehension, test anxiety, and also fear of negative evaluation. On the other hand, gender has been regarded as one of the factors that influence the differences in language learning anxiety. So, as reported by Park and French through 2013, female students tended to be more anxious compared to males in a study of 948 university students studying English in Korea, where gender differences in language anxiety were investigated. However, a study by Charkun and Dikilitas 2015 indicated that female students show higher level of anxiety when they conducted research in an English as an foreign language context among Turkish undergraduate students. So the methodology that being used in this study is actually a quantitative method. This study involved 153 students in their semester, in their first semester at Polytechnic Sandakan, Sabah. So descriptive analysis and independent t-tests were utilized to extract the required information regarding the English language speaking anxiety among Polytechnic students in Sandakan, Sabah. So the instruments that are being used to collect data in this study was questionnaire. This study utilized a set of questionnaires adapted from Bellamy 2009 on foreign language speaking anxiety scale FLSAS. Okay, so generally there are two sections of the questionnaires in which the students' demographic information is in the first requirement in section A, followed by section B with 28 items to measure foreign language speaking anxiety. Okay, so let's move on to finding and discussion. So for objective number one, the question, in order to find the answers for objective number one, so let's look at what is the finding here. So for objective number one, the anxiety levels of Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah student when speaking the English language. So in order to determine the level of anxiety when speaking in the English language among Polytechnic students in Sandakan Sabah, the questionnaire was summed, okay, and then from the score, the level of anxiety was determined based on the cutoff score, which were established by criterion referencing technique. So if we look here, okay, so this is the cutoff scores. So it is calculated to form three categories. The first one is low anxiety score, and then moderate anxiety score, and high anxiety score. So Stephen 2016 has stated that in order to determine the student's category based on specific criteria, the application of the criterion referencing technique in calculating score into quartiles need to be followed. So there are the range score are from 98 to 140 that indicate high level anxiety, and then from 70 to 97 it is indicated moderate level anxiety, and 28 to 96 indicated low level anxiety. So let's look at table 4.2. Okay, so this is the level of English speaking anxiety among students of Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah. So we can see here that the highest one is moderate level anxiety with the frequency of 108 participants, and the percentages is 70.6. Okay, so looking at objective number two, so differences between male and female students of Polytechnic Sandakan Sabah in English language speaking anxiety. If we look here, so let's look at the description here. So it can be perceived through the descriptive statistic in table 4.3 just now that the comparison of mean score in terms of gender revealed that female students were more anxious than male students. Okay, with mean of 91.8049, and then male student with 90.0175. Okay, so it shows that female students were a little more anxious compared to male students. However, the result of the t-test in table 4.4 just now indicates that there was no significant differences between the male and female students. Okay, it's not much. Okay, anyway, so there's no significant differences. The finding of this study is supported by research by Yi et al. 2017 on the role of gender in English language anxiety among tertiary students in a university in Sarawak, Malaysia, whereby there were no significant differences reported between male and female students when it comes to speaking anxiety and its effect on gender. So outside of Malaysia, Pichurska Kuchil 2012 has failed to identify significant gender differences in language anxiety and found no support for gender differences in anxiety language speaking skill among 621 participants in high school in Poland. Similarly, Polytechnic students in Sandakan, Sabah, both male and female, face anxiety when it comes to speaking in English language, regardless of the student's gender. So they encounter fear and anxiousness when they are asked to speak in English. Okay, so probably because for male students, for example, they do not want to look stupid, especially in front of the opposite gender, as they want to maintain their masculinity. On the other hand, it's stated that Crotch 2004 has reported that female students have always wanted to portray themselves as brilliant and smart, especially in front of the opposite gender. So she refers to this as performing femininity, where female students feel intimidated if others perceive them as stupid and always want to appear intelligent. Okay, so as a conclusion, the ability to speak without hesitation and nervousness is paramount in reflecting a person's mastery of a language. However, anxiety becomes one of the factors that hampers speaking skill among students. So when it comes to the context of polytechnic institution, there is still insufficient study in English language speaking anxiety among polytechnic students. Thus, the findings from this research have demonstrated important implication in gathering data about the English language speaking anxiety phenomena in the polytechnic, specifically in Sandakan, Sabah. Okay, so the finding can be used to improve English language speaking skill among polytechnic students who are currently being looked down as the second class among employers because of their lack of fluency in speaking English, regardless of their skills and knowledge in their respective field. So last but not least, this is definitely an enormous issue for the students who need positive intervention from lecturers, such as applying more effective teaching strategies to help them convert their speaking anxiety from debilitative anxiety to facilitative anxiety. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.